Today, the what we're working with is the Council of Light. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Council of Light, it's a beings that reside in a higher dimension that we are attuned and connected to prior to incarnation. And we have an opportunity to kind of have a review in a sense and lay out a basic plan, although we have a lot of free will in this life, as to our life and what we want to learn and how much we want to grow and who we want to connect to. And we have a soul family. And that soul family is sometimes our actual family, and sometimes it's people we encounter along the way. And often we move through lifetime after lifetime with this tribe, with this soul family. And there's different realms or different layers to our soul family. There's the very basic unit, and then it expands and, to people that we are just kind of run into. But we knew when we ran into them, even if it was for a long weekend or even an hour, that there was this soul connection, and there was a reason that you connected, and there was a contract that you had before you came together. So we're going to talk today with Raphael about contracts and about how they work. And it's an interesting topic. We'll go into a little bit around that. And then we'll go into a journey, more so than an actual meditation. So it'll be really important to turn off your cell phone and be present and in a quiet place, so that when we go through the journey aspect, you really can get the most out of it as possible. I find when I'm attuning to Raphael's vibration and Raphael comes in and is really sharing with us and bringing us somewhere, it can be very profound, because energetically, Raphael is actually fully and completely connecting with the Council of Light and working with them and bringing us into that octave, into that frequency. And if we can let go of our monkey mind and really be present and get there with Raphael, what happens is we can receive incredible pearls of insight and wisdom. And although it's wonderful to connect with a channel, whether it's me or somebody else, to receive some divine guidance from higher dimensions, it's most important, and of course you know this, that anything that you're seeking and all information you're looking for is already within you, resides in you, that you are powerful, that you are your own channel and your own connector to the higher realms. I just happen to be a conduit who's been doing it a long time. I think it's my contract. And so I'm here to be of assistance, but ultimately the answers come from within. And because of that, and we know that, and we're moving more in that direction, I think collectively as a society, I have definitely been shifting my work more away from as much as giving information as I had been, as supporting you and receiving the information yourself, as divine beings who already know everything you need to know about your life. So we'll channel and tap into all that, and then we'll do the meditation. The Council of Light is one of the key codes. So if you don't know what a key code is, and it kind of is just like a term, right? What the heck is a key code? It's the unlocking of codes within our being that we've closed doors to, or we forgot about, that we understood and remembered in past lives and ancient times and in higher dimensions. And because of our current heaviness and density and the vibration here that we are, sometimes those codes of remembering are shut down. And sort of like mystery school teachings that we've kind of are trying to remember and tap back into, that we're not taught along the way, certainly not in our collective education system. And so the 33 key codes that I downloaded and channeled from Raphael, each of them kind of integrate and weave together with the other ones. And this particular key code is called the Council of Light key code. And it activates within you an opportunity to remember the time before you were born, as you sat with the Council of Light, and to connect with them, the contracts that you made, why you made them, and to have the potential to go in and make revisions to those contracts. And after we do the Council of Light key code, and if you guys want to really delve more deeply into that, we do that every morning. We'll be doing that starting August 22nd for 2 full weeks. And what will be happening with that is you'll start to recognize with your partner, with your friends, with your children, with your lover, with your work companion, what is the role that you're playing? And that person that maybe has really been triggering you for a really long time, remembering that, yeah, I had a contract with them and they're just kind of playing their part. They're playing their role. And if I can step back and look at it from a bigger perspective, instead of being so annoyed with them, I may be able to eventually move into complete gratitude that they're playing their role perfectly. And it's how I am choosing to react to that relationship and that role that they're playing and the role that I'm playing for them. And we're going to go over in the key code itself, lots of different roles that we play, from the healer to the sabotager, right? To the birther, the awakener, the visionary, and the one that's the over pleaser, right? The giver. There's so many different ones, and there's lots of different ways that this information can come, and we can receive it through all different ways of teaching. But in this practice, we'll be practicing with 12 particular different roles that we carry, and each of us carry, a main role that we're carrying, is sort of our major contract in this lifetime. And sometimes we'll look out into the collective, and we might notice a politician or someone who's really stirring things up, right? And there can be a lot of rage towards somebody, one particular person, whoever that may be. But they're playing their perfect role for the collective, and we all agreed to that with them as well. So there's all these different layers, and we know this, and we're learning this as spiritual beings, not learning it, we're remembering it. And as we remember it, it really drives a different perspective in our relationships. So if you want to join us for the Council of Light Key Code, it's going to begin on August 22nd. This week, you can join the IM membership. IM membership is a much better value than just buying the key code. But if you don't want to be constantly working, all the time on all the 33 key codes, and you're like, God, the Council of Light is just hitting me. That's the one I want. You can just get that one for 2 weeks, and that's another option. So give that some thought, and in the replay, I'll send a link for that, and we'll have a wonderful group, and we'll begin on the 22nd with that. Okay. All right, so I am going to bring in Raphael. If you haven't heard me channel before, I'm going to make these toning sounds. I have a new mic, and I'm hoping that this is going to help with any disruption in the audio. And then I will say hello and come in, and we'll do some Q&A, and then we'll move into the activation itself, or journey, I guess might be a better word for this one. All right. And Casey, just checking. I see you here, honey.
Yeah, I'm here, baby. I'm mama.
All right, super. Thank you, darling. I don't know if I need to turn off my mic since I have a new one, you think, for the tone?
Yeah, don't turn off the mic. Just try it with it on.
All right. If not, wake me out of the trance and let me know, and I'll try to readjust.
Will do.
Awesome.
Hello.
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 As always, we are very delighted to be here and to talk to you in this way. And we always find it quite humorous that this one, Kelly, is still playing the role of controller as she is trying to control the class in terms of preparing. And we want her to relax, for there is no need to prepare for anything because we've got it handled.
Raphael, could you pause just for 1 second to let the mic come in and then come back in? And now try and speak.
Is this better?
No, but we'll do our best. Thank you. So keep going.
It is very funny, is the different roles that you all play and the habits that you have and the behaviors that you continue to do, sometimes conscious and sometimes unconscious. For this example of us letting Kelly know that she doesn't have to do anything other than just be and to allow in order for us to come forward and to speak in this way. And yet the conditioning of the role of being prepared and being the teacher is still playing out. And yet that particular aspect of the contract doesn't need to be fulfilled at this time, for she can simply open to the awareness of our energy and vibration. We're wanting to make sure now that you can hear us.
Yes.
And so it is that we are here with many, many beings, and we talk to you today about the Council of Light. And the Council of Light, in which she is wanting to attune to, are 12 particular energies or archetypes or vibrations. And yet the Council is many more than that. For in many regards, it is infinite. And so we're here today as they are all here and present, for we have access, or you have access at this particular moment in time, to Saint Germain and his vibration and energy as the alchemist and the transmuter, something in which many of you may be playing that particular role in your life, in your contracts with others, as you take their garbage, their energy, their heaviness, their density, their shadow, and you transform it. You bring it through you. You transmute it, because you are a transmuter of energy and vibration and energy. You are the alchemist. And some of you are aligning with other energies, for it is that the beautiful vibration that I carry as Archangel Raphael is that of the healer. And many of you hold that aspect, and you are a healer. And it doesn't mean that you're a healer only because you are laying on of hands, or you're a physician of some sort. It can be that you are a healer just by the presence of who it is that you are. But there are so many different aspects to being a healer, for it is that this one, as an example, aligns with the vibration of the healer, because the resonance that allows me to attune to her energy. And yet the greatest challenge in her lifetime is disease, has been sickness, has been working with moving into wellness. And it is interesting to be channeling the energy, the vibration of the healer, and the residence of the emerald ray light, and the green purity of healing in which I carry and bring forth, and yet to have the challenge of disease, because it is that then the healer comes out to bring forward that aspect and to move into healing. And that healing then has to align with something that is another role that may have been playing, that the disease that comes may come from overdoing or over pleasing or being sensitive or worried about what other people think. All those aspects that are other shadows that are arising. And so the illness then brings one down onto their back until they realize that they must protect themselves. And then they begin to work with Archangel Michael and the protective energy. And then they might learn to work with Sekhmet around boundaries. And then as they create the boundaries, their power center may rise as they come back into that. and then they move into being healed, and then they can become the healer, and then they are fully in their healing. They may become the teacher of the healer, and the teacher may resonate with the council of light, such as Jesus. And so it is that all these different aspects are within each and every one of you, and yet there are some that become predominant themes in your life, and in particular relationships, where you may be in a relationship where one is the giver and the other is the taker, where one is always feeling needy of affection and wanting affection, and the other is always pulling away and resisting and contracting. That is very common in a love relationship, in which a contract is there and the shadow is coming up to be seen. And so all of these different roles are playing themselves out. The role of the wealthy one, the one that has everything in great abundance, the one in poverty and in lack, the one such as Judas, who played the betrayal in the story of Jesus, and Mary Magdalene. And Mary Magdalene played this role of the supporter role, and then she became the victim, in which she was looked upon as something other than what she was. And so these different parts are all playing within you. And within you, before you were born, there was an attuning to what aspect you wanted a larger portion of your process of your soul to evolve and to grow and to learn from. And you signed off and connected with your soul family. And then you had a ring of your basic soul family. And then beyond that, there are other aspects that may come in for a month or 2 or 6 or a year or a decade. And then all of a sudden, those people are no longer in your life, for they came in for a purpose for one another to grow, and you had a contract. And then there are others that can be very fleeting. It can be a day, an hour, a weekend, and yet there is a contract. And there can be others in which you live with for a whole lifetime, or a part of your family unit that you just don't resonate with. You don't love them, or you love them, but you're not connected at a deep soul level. And there's actually no contract. You're in a neutral zone. You're just in supportive roles of one another. And so there are infinite roles and infinite contracts taking place. And yet when in any given moment you are in deep relationship with another, recognizing that there is a contract, when you have an opportunity to be able to really look at it from a larger perspective, to assess it from a new place, to call upon the beings of light that can assist you, that helped you in the writing of the contract, then you can look at it from a grander perspective. And sometimes the contract then that can then come to completion. It is important to know that there are times when contracts are completed, and sometimes this is an example of a contract where you've had a lifetime where you aborted a contract that wasn't supposed to be, because you couldn't stand the heat, you couldn't complete something, and then that being will come back into your life again, and then they will have you have done the work, and it will have actually come to completion. And yet, because there is this old karmic thread of remembering you had aborted it early before, you may stay in a marriage, for example, for a very long time unnecessarily, because you're still holding on to the vibration that you're afraid to abort it because you aborted it too early last time, even though in this lifetime it has come to completion. And so there are many different nuances and aspects to this process in which we want to share with you and attune with you and go into detail with you, so that you may begin to bring more conscious awareness to your relationships and to why they are how they are, and if and when it is time for you to continue them or to complete them and they are finished, or to let go, or you've learned from them or you haven't learned, and a recognition that it is important to remain present with it and to keep processing and healing along the way. And so, hello.
Hello, Raphael. Thank you so much for doing this call for all of us this week. And I guess the first question is, how do we tune into and become aware of the contracts that we have with people?
Oh, Well, it is that the veil is so much thinner now than it was. And so your ability, if you're conscious and aware and intending and wanting to have an understanding of the contract, it is through the deep reflection, regression, and meditation that you can go through your light body Merkaba back through the time sequence into the formation in which you were prior to being in form, and you can review and work directly with the beings of light to assist you in showing you that contract as you access it to deep within the recesses of your understanding. And that is something in which we will do with you in the work moving forward. And today we can bring you there if you're wanting, to help you to start to have some awareness of this place so that you may begin to go there and to visit. Now, there is also the Akashic records, in which we'll be working with moving after this, where you are tuning to a recording of every word, every thought, every moment, every smell, every taste, every feeling, every sight, everything heard in all lifetimes are recorded and stored. But that storage of information is separate from the contracts of current lifetime that were written that haven't come to completion, that the Council of Light may assist you with as you attune to their energy, for them to open the doorway in order for you to see more clearly what is needed at this time. But it will require going into deeper states of consciousness to access such things.
Thank you, Raphael. And another question that I have is, I guess there's three kind of scenarios when it comes to having a contract with someone. Is either the contract is up, that the contract is still going, and if the contract is still going, but there seems to be a violation of the contract in some way, or one party isn't ready to continue on the contract, how do we know the difference? Like, what happens then? So say that there was a contract that we had and one party wasn't willing to fulfill the contract, or even both parties. How thank you for telling me about my sound. What happens then, right? If the contract cannot be fulfilled, even if the contract is still present and there's still things to be done.
Well, it is being fulfilled. You're fulfilling it by recognizing that you think there's more to be done, and yet you're making a conscious choice to remove yourself from it. That's part of the contract, because sometimes spaciousness is needed within a contract in order to have a perspective in which the contract of the thread of the learning process from it still travels with you, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're engaged directly on a physical level with the one in which you're in contract with. The contract can continue through a lifetime, even if you're not having personal connection or relation with the one that you ignited the growth process with to begin with, because it's like opening something within you that then is traveling with you, moving forward and carried into new and other contracts. And so it isn't that when a contract comes into place and you attune to another, having a relationship, working with one another on something, sometimes it's very clear that you've both gotten everything that you can out of the relationship, and that you've learned whatever you can, and that the relationship's come to a full completion, and the contract is over. Other times you're in relationship and connection in a contract, and there's still a lot more to do and to learn, and one or other chooses to abort it early because they don't have what it takes to move through it. It's too overwhelming. In which regard, often you have to return to that theme, either in another relationship that will show up to complete the contract, or with that particular actual essence in another lifetime. And then there are times in which you come together in a relationship and you have a contract and you learn and you grow, but you're conscious about that. You're aware of that, and you're aware that there may be more to learn, but that you can't learn it in this particular setup of this relationship. So the contract stays open, meaning it's open in that the thread from it will be carried forward, but it's not necessarily carried forward with the actual individual.
Thank you, Raphael. And so what happens if we continue to hold, a question that was posed here is, what happens if we continue to hold on to a relationship even when the contract is finished? Does that prevent us from then being in the contracts that we need to be somewhere else?
Yes. It is that, of course, you have free will. And within the free will, fear can arise of being abandoned, being alone, not finding someone else, all kinds of things that can keep you, prevent you because you're not willing to take a leap of faith to maintain oneself in a contract that on a higher level you recognize has come to completion, or you've gained and learned what it's from, or it's no longer serving both parties in order to allow you to fully grow. And yet you maintain staying in it like a marriage that's been over for a long time, and which one continues to make excuses. Well, I can't leave now because they won't have enough money, or I can't leave now because we have children, I have to wait for them to grow up, or I can't leave now because I have to wait for the children to go to college, or I can't leave now because we're old and I need to take care of them. And so an excuse is always made to continue in a relationship that really the contract may have been over decades before due to deep fear. And that is when you're not fulfilling lots of other contracts and opportunities that would be arising for you to learn and to grow from, in which you become stifled in a lifetime, and then you have to come back to work on that particular aspect. And so it is important to recognize that excuses are something that one can conjure up in order to stay safe. And staying safe then is a role that one is playing. Then they may need to play that role in order to recognize their ability to fly. And it is that an enormous part of the human experience is a willingness to take risk, a willingness to open up, to expand, to have faith, to fly, to jump off the cliff in a sense, because it is fascinating to us that you come to us in the angelic realm, or to God, or to higher beings of light, or whoever it is, the universe, whatever word you want to associate with attuning to the divine, when you are in trouble and you pray to us, oh, please come and help me with this. But it really is that what we want to teach you is to be with that aspect of the divine within yourself, in which it is you, and to carry that already through, in which you are trusting enough within yourself that you make decisions and you move forward with a faith within your being that you are already fully aligned with that divinity, that perfection, and that it's got your back, and that you are already safe, and you are moving from that place rather than finding yourself in trouble and looking above, outside of self, to come down and fix something. That old belief system, paradigm, and way of being and behaving is no longer collectively serving all of you, as you are moving away from looking outside to recognizing everything is within, as above, so without, and so on. It is that it is very important right now to share with all of you the importance of expansion, of risk-taking, of trusting in your own power, in your own residence, in your own being, to bring forth, to create, to manifest, to enjoy, to embrace, to experience whatever you are wanting without limitation, that the limitation itself is only in the mind. And when one is caught in a relationship where the contract is way over, they are creating an artificial limitation to hold them hostage in something that they've given excuses to be in, because ultimately they're afraid to fly.
Thank you, Raphael. And I guess the question really is what is the purpose of all this expansion through contracts and challenges that we have agreed upon? And sometimes, you wonder, why can't it just be easy?
Oh, well, it is easy where it is that I am, and it is easy when you come back home, but it can get a bit boring. In a sense that you enjoy the adventure of it. And it's like a woman who gives birth and it's so incredibly painful. And they say, oh, I will never, ever do that again. And then a year later, they're having a baby because the joy and the experience of the baby, even though there's the sleepless nights and the worry and all the things that come with it, there is so much beauty and connection and intimacy and joy from being a parent that it is worth the pain of the birth. And so it's much like the human experience is so magnificent, but when you're in it, you might be saying to yourself, I'm not going to come back and do this again. This is living hell. But really, there is so much joy in it that there are, yes, these moments of anguish, anxiety, suffering, pain, hurt, but there is also all the magnificent energy and beauties of processes of expanding. And this human experience that you're all having is something that you have chosen to have willingly. You weren't just thrown down here haphazardly, forced to be here as a victim to the human experience. You made a conscious, absolute choice. I choose in this now moment to be on earth, and I choose to be here on earth while it's going through this transition, and I choose to have these parents, and I choose to have these siblings, and I choose to have these experiences and these relationships. And in the choosing of that, I get to experience polarity and division and separation. But in it, I evolve and grow and change and move and evolve toward the oneness of the vibration back home to where I came from. And in that comes with it this expression that you are collectively all doing together as a collective group. And in that, you are moving out of these denser energies into this full remembering. And ultimately, what many of you call the fifth dimension, or the place in which you're residing or moving toward, and many of you have arrived in, is an ability to enjoy all the senses of the human experience while you're fully in a conscious state of alert and awakeness as a witness and an observer to it in the beauty and the unfoldment of it, without being engaged in the drama to the point that it is creating any longer suffering, because you are fully and completely embracing the vibration of gratitude for whatever it is that is unfolding, because you recognize its perfection and you recognize its design and you recognize your part in your contract and you're signing off on it, and you're going to go for it, enjoy it, embrace it, and be with it. And so it is that you're moving more and more to that remembering, to that knowing, in which case that person that is the thorn in your side, as Kelly sometimes says, or is the trigger, or is the one nudging you, or the one bothering you, or getting on your nerves, is your greatest teacher and your closest soul family member, because you both agreed that you were going to do this together. And so in many ways, the one sometimes it's the most difficult one is often the one in which ultimately you love the most and have the most adoring affection toward on some level, at least at the soul level, because you agreed to play these energies together. Sometimes you'll even agree to play the role in a lifetime as the trickster. You'll agree to come in and be the trickster in someone's life. That's a hard role to be assigned to. But when you see it from the new perspective, you almost cannot even. Yes, of course you're angry, and the other one has a way to learn to have boundaries, to be more intuitive, to use discernment, to pay attention. But look at all the opportunities for learning that the trickster then can give to another who has engaged in a contract with them. What an amazing gift they are giving, in which case you can move into gratitude for the fact that they were courageous enough to raise their hand during the time where they are coming here in the design to choose such a hard role to play.
Thank you, Raphael. And I think now would be a great time to take us on that journey to show us the different roles that we could be playing so that everybody can have more clarity on what roles and contracts they may be in.
Yes, and it is important to know that you know, and we want you to really embody this. Every relationship you have ever had, every relationship you will have, whatever relationship you are in, at some level, and when you are willing to open the door to that level, are aware of your agreements, your roles, the contract you're in, and the reason you're together. And you're aware when on the timeline the completion of that contract is ended, when to keep the contract open, and when to start a new contract. And that keeping one going that is supposed to come to completion may also keep you from the contracts you have with others. And that is why it is important to move with the flow and to pay attention to the reasoning behind why one may maintain specific connections or relationships, whether it be with a lover or a friend or a business partner or a parent or whatever it may be. All right, with that, take a nice deep breath all the way in and let go. And another one all the way in and let go. Bringing your awareness to where it is that you are now. Bringing your awareness to your breath. Noticing what is aware of the awareness of your breath. Becoming aware of awareness itself. Allowing all of your muscles to relax. Allowing your shoulders to drop and your jaw to relax. Your pelvic floor to sink down, wherever it is that you are. Slowing your breath down as your eyes are becoming heavier and heavier and heavier. Remembering that you are a being of energy. That you are temporarily in this body, but so much more than the body. Begin to pull all of your energy toward you. Any place that your energy may be leaking or involved in thinking about another or in their business, begin to bring it back, reclaiming your power, bringing all of your energy back into your body. And with that, we are tuning to each and every one of you, listening to this in this now moment. And as we begin to do that, we are igniting in and around all of you, your light body Merkaba. This is a star tetrahedron that is above you, coming down like a pyramid from above as it drops over you, and one from below as it comes up. As they overlap and lock at the heart center, they begin to spin, one clockwise and one counterclockwise. You are sitting inside this light body Merkaba. It is radiating with light, bringing your awareness now to your heart. And as you bring in your awareness to your heart, feel how warm it is and loving, and allow the warmth and the love of your heart, the glowing energy, to begin to expand as we are inserting and in placing within you a beautiful gold light. Notice this light. It is in your heart. It is beginning to grow. It is filling your whole body. And this light is very healing. This light is pure. It resonates at a higher frequency than you are currently at. And it can instantaneously and miraculously heal anything in your body, bringing you into complete health. Allow yourself to receive this gift and this healing light as it's moving through your cells and your whole molecular structure. As this light is beginning to expand, a spiral is moving toward you. It is that the Council of Light, made of 12, is standing around you. Begin to bring your awareness to their energy. They are standing in front of you in a circle, and as they stand there, each of them have their left hand facing you. Out of their left hand is a spiral of light, and this light is moving toward you, and as it is radiating into your being, and it is hitting your heart center. As it hits your heart center, it's beginning to spin counterclockwise. And as it spins, you begin to feel a sense of weightlessness and expansion, as if you are no longer in the body and you are beginning to float. And as you float, you notice a line in the spiral, an energy, and as it moves counterclockwise, it is going back in time, and you are becoming younger and younger than you are now. And as you go back in time, you are remembering yourself as the years are decreasing. And as you're going back, you're noticing your life, and you're counting backwards from the age that you are now, as the age you become younger and younger and younger on the timeline. And all the people in your life are just on the line. They are there with your awareness of your whole life, just flashing before you as you are moving back to being a teenager. And there you are, so young, so innocent, so there and present, noticing yourself going back. And now you are in middle school, and the energy is going back and back. And now you are in elementary school. You are a young child, and you are just enjoying your life. You are witnessing what is happening, and it keeps rolling back as the spiral continues to move. And you are a toddler, and you are little, and now you are crawling on the ground, and you are looking at everything and noticing it. And now you are a baby, and you are being held as a baby and cradled. And now you are going back on the timeline, and you now are in your mother's womb. And it is dark here, and it is warm, and you are floating And there's some awareness that you're in this place of spaciousness. You're feeling the heartbeat of your mother, the movement of her body, the softness of her voice. And now the spiral is moving and you are being pulled by a light. The light is glowing and warm and familiar, and the spiral continues to move. And you're moving now quick like a dart, like the speed of light and beyond. And you find yourself floating in this space. And in this space where you are floating, you begin to have an awareness of a new place that is familiar. And as you look at this place, you see there is a beautiful temple there, one that you know you have visited many times. It is made of crystal and light, and it is coming into your awareness. And all of a sudden, you are inside the temple, and you are in the center of it. The shape is round, and around the temple are these beautiful ascended beings, and their faces start to come closer and become more familiar to you. They resonate as beings of light, of high codes of wisdom and love. They are here to assist you, and you are there, and you are naked and bare and pure and innocent. In a sense, you feel like a new beginning, a new adventure is about to occur. And you are here to meet with them, to talk to them, to make some big decisions about your life. Some of them start to come into focus. You see the beautiful, gentle eyes of the Buddha as he looks to you with his love and compassion and great presence and awareness. You notice the beauty of the Divine Mother, her gentleness, her nurturing nature, the rose upon her heart, and the blue and gold in her aura. You notice the beautiful goddess Lakshmi with all of her colors and the symbols around her and the gold floating about. You see Thoth there with his beak and his emerald tablet and his wisdom and his knowledge. You notice Saint Germain in the violet flame and his velvet cloak and his Maltese cross. You see Jesus in his white robe and his long hair and his glowing heart of love. You notice Michael with his big wings and his beautiful cobalt blue energy and his sword of light. You notice me there in my emerald green ray and my open heart of healing light for you as I hold the sign of the medical sign of healing. There are many more. They are countless. For Kuan Yin is there, and Saint Germain, and Isis, and White Buffalo Woman, and many more. They stand around you, and they hold the frequency and the vibration of certain archetypes and roles to be played. They come here to assist you, to help you, for you are here today to create the great design of your life. It will be an overview of your life, a template. You have roles to play, a purpose to do, a mission at hand, and it is all of your choosing. You have a soul family to connect with, and others who will weave in and out through your design so that you may grow and expand. And so now take a moment sitting there in the center of this circle, and in front of you is a beautiful tablet. It is different than that you have on earth. It is clear and it is imprinted with your thought and your intent. Many are arriving now who are coming on the journey to earth during the same time sequence as you. Some will arrive before you and are already there waiting. Some will arrive after you. All of them are part of your tribe and your soul family. You have traveled with them before many lifetimes, and you are all in agreement to this adventure that you are playing out. And as you sit now, notice that they are arriving. Some of them are already on earth, your parents, your grandparents, perhaps a sibling or aunts or uncles. They are already waiting for you, but in spirit they are with you today, for this is a momentous occasion as you create your contracts with them. They know and aware. Sometimes the mother or father gets a feeling that they will have a son or a daughter. They know of you already, but yet they call this intuition. It is that they are waiting, and yet there are others that will come after you, who may be your own children or grandchildren. There will be ones who will be your friends who are younger than you, and others who have already arrived. And yet they are around you in this moment, whether they are already there or they are coming soon. Energetically, from the place of their soul, they stand around you in 3 rings. These are golden rings, and they carry different frequencies. There is the main ring, and this is your core tribe, your core soul family. It usually exists of those in your blood family and an addition of others, ones in which you come in contact with in this lifetime. And as soon as you see them, you know them, you recognize them at a deep soul level. They are here to be your teacher and you theirs. Begin to attune now to the first ring, and as you attune, you will see them standing around you. Often there are many of them, for this is the main core that you resonate with, the beings that will stick with you through most of your lifetime. Some in this ring also are those who come for a fleeting time that make a large impact in a very short period of time. For the amount of time they are with you is not as important as the impact on your life they have made. Begin to bring awareness now to who they are, this first ring. And as you begin to notice them, you will notice that some of them have already been in your life, have come, taught you something, and have left. Some are consistent and steady and there for you, stable. There is no judgment if they came fleetingly or they are there consistently. They are still part of your soul family. Begin to bring an awareness now. If in the first ring of your soul family, if any of them in this moment want to step forward so that you and them can review your contract from a state of conscious awareness with the intent that the understanding and awareness of this contract will come back into your conscious state in the human form so that you may use this knowledge to help you in decisions in this relationship. Notice that they stand forward now. And now they are standing in front of you. And as they stand in front of you, notice light coming from your heart and light coming from their heart. And as it meets in the center, it is something lights up. It is a holographic form of your contract with them. Take some time now to read it. If you have questions about this contract, you may ask now and trust your own intuitive knowing as you are in a place to remember it completely and fully. What role are they playing for you? What are you learning? What role are you playing for them? What are they learning? Has this contract come to completion, or is it open-ended? And if it is open, what do you agree to continue to teach each other? And are you willing to grow? You may also ask for assistance from any council member that resonates with this contract. It may be Kuan Yin for more compassion. It may be myself for more healing. You may be seeking boundaries or power or self-worth. Now, this is a place that you can come and connect at the soul level with different members to review your contracts with them. You can even change those contracts. You can negotiate them and revisit them and rewrite them if both parties agree. And just for now, this soul family member will return to the ring of members around you so that you can be aware that around the ring of the core members is another ring. This is a peripheral ring. These are beings that often play the role of the supporter or the good friend. They are usually easier relationships that are just helpful and nice and gentle, sometimes deep and sometimes not, but they're just there. Notice who these beings are for you in this lifetime. Bring your awareness to this grouping. Notice if any of them you want to connect with more or look deeper to make sure you're fulfilling your contract with one another. And now we are just doing a little bit of this today, but we will need to go deeper in this work at another time. But beyond that is another ring. These people come in just for short glimpses here and there, fleeting parts of your contract, weaving in and out, and yet you are transferring energy with them. They may be giving you something, and you them something, just by being. Bring your awareness to these energies as well. And then recognize there are the bigger collective contracts that you've agreed upon around your country, your planet, your leaders, the evolution of your species. Bringing your energy back to the center as you sit there in the middle with these rings of beings around you, and the furthest ring out being the Council of Light. And among the Council of Light is their beautiful energy that holds you in this template, this new vibration of remembering that you chose to be where you are, to meet who you have met, to have relationships with who you have, to learn and to grow, to heal and to share, to teach and to know. And sometimes you play the role of the victim, and sometimes the perpetrator, sometimes the healer, the teacher, the birther, or the alchemist. For there are many roles in your contract. And we will return at another day to gain greater clarity. But know at any time you can travel here to this temple, and you can bring forth your soul family or a particular member at the highest level and look at the holographic imprint of your contracts and make decisions about them and revisions. And so it is. And with that, this holographic field begins to collapse as the temple begins to disappear and you find yourself floating in a spaciousness of nothing, moving along the spiral, this time clockwise, moving at a rapid pace through a bright light as you land in the womb of your mother, where it is warm and you are safe, where the veil has closed you and come over you, and you have forgotten about your contract, forgotten about your purpose, your mission, and your design. You're just a ball of light and energy floating and fluid. And then there is this tightness and this pushing and this squeezing feeling. And all of a sudden, you take a breath and you are here on Earth. The lights are bright. The noises are overwhelming. You begin to smell and feel the tenderness and the cold. And you are wrapped and you are held. And your journey begins. And so far along the pathway of your journey, you have wed a beautiful golden thread, and you have connected with the souls in your contract, in your family. And some you have completed, and some have not. And new ones are awaiting you. New relationships, new adventures, perhaps even a child or a grandchild, or a new friend or companion is about to arrive. So remember, it's all designed by you, and it's perfect. And with that, you start to bring your awareness back into the here and now, in your body, having your human experience with the name that you have, and the role that you're playing, and the contracts you know. Come together. We're going to delve a lot deeper into these roles and contracts, and the Council of Light key code begins on August 22nd. Love for you to join us. You can also join the IM membership to work with it. And all the replays and recordings are in this.
Hey, Mom, really try and speak up when you talk.
Okay, sorry if you guys couldn't hear me. I'm so glad we had this journey together. If you want to work more deeply with your contracts, the Council of Light, and all this work, I'm going to be doing this key code beginning August 22nd. You can register for it. If you can't get on live for the calls, there are replays. It will be a very powerful key code. And the IM membership is another place where you can receive all the key codes. And I love you, and I'm glad we had this time together. And thank you, Casey, for questions and hosting. And I hope you guys were able to hear me. So have a beautiful weekend. I hope to see you Monday morning in our IM membership or Lightworker membership. Much love to everybody. Mwah.